as the owner of Sandcastle Billiards, you have an obvious history in the game and some skin in it as well. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your history as a pool player and then how that transitioned from that into becoming the owner of a very popular and successful pool hall?
Well, thank you very much for the introduction, Garret. Thank you very much for having me on and doing this interview. I appreciate the exposure. Um, Quick background on me. I'll try to make it quick. I know I'm a little long-winded sometimes, but I started out early on the right path in school at the age of 17, taking a more serious interest in the game, playing a little bit from the age of 8, uh, banging them around here and there occasionally. But I didn't take it seriously until later on in life when I was already in my first year in college, at community college, and I was going down to the rec room, breaking away from classes and skipping uh, uh, the non-essential classes, and the electives, and going down to the rec room where they had a few bar tables there. And I kept seeing another guy there that I would never typically hang out with because we were all in our own little zone. But he was always there. I was always there. And I asked him, I said, hey, you want to go to a real pool room and actually break away? There's one down the road in Hamilton Township. He said, sure. So we went out there to play pool, started getting into more and more in the game. Long story short, I was introduced to a gentleman by the name of Santos Sambahon, who was number 4 in the world at that time. And he was living in Connecticut, but visiting friends in New Jersey. And we had a mutual friend at that pool room, Noel Vencirto, a little Filipino friend of mine. And we wound up becoming the A players or local player. I wasn't an A player yet. Maybe a C class player at that point. But we were always finding ourselves in the finals of the local tournaments. He introduced me to Santos, saw my interest in the game, learned a few more things. A few months later, I was introduced to a guy named Francisco Bustamante, who was my idol at that time. Yes, I loved and respected Efren as the greatest of all time at that point, and still the GOAT in my eyes. But Bustamante's flair and the wild stroke and everything was exciting to watch for me. And I got to meet him in the first 5 months or 6 months of playing pool seriously. And a few months after that, I got introduced to Efren Reyes. And before I knew it, I was a 17, 18-year-old kid driving them around to all the tournaments and giving them action and pretending to speak Tagalog and translating for them when I only knew a few phrases. And we put on a little act. I would say, I'll translate it. It's like, what time is it? Good evening, good morning, where's the bathroom? Things like that over and over again, pretending to translate, making games for them as an 18-year-old kid. Lots of money. So I got swept up and starstruck in it early. Then I drive them around to Alan Hopkins tournaments when he had them in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and just saw the whole professional scene right from the start. So I did get involved in bar leagues as fun nights out, and I do respect them for what they are as far as a fun amateur night out with competition.
Give the audience a reference here. What year was it when you were 18 or time range?
95, 94, 95. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Pool was still thriving here in the Northeast. We had good Calcuttas. We had a lot of action. We had a lot of tournaments. We had a lot of professional events. We had a lot of professionals coming to the U.S. to compete where it was worth it for them to actually get involved. Since then, we've had a lot of pool rooms closed, and I mean pool rooms that were dedicated to the players, dedicated to the game itself. We have a lot of pool rooms that are more concerned with the dollar bill and selling alcohol and products, which is great for the industry on the product side. But as far as play goes, everything's been going down since then. And I've been tempted, I've been tempted to write an article, but I don't want to get the backlash from it. I referenced a quote or a saying from kings to clowns, as I unfortunately have to admit, America has become in the last 30 years. In the eyes of the world, not in my eyes, in the eyes of the world. I've dealt with people and players, males, females, juniors, from all over the world, and I see where they stand. 14-year-old girls in China breaking and running out racks of 9-ball on a Chinese 8-ball table, which is a high-level caliber play. And then we sit here and think that we're still number one and we're the best. I'm sorry, guys. We need to wake up. We've fallen far behind. I don't want to be the wake-up call, but I have to be because no one else. And we sit here thinking that we're world competitive, world-class level. We're not. We have one world-class player in America, Shane Van Bonen. The number 2 player in America for 4 years was Mike DeShane, number 2 in America for 4 years, and he made like what, $48,000 a year in tournament play, and that's why he stopped playing. It's not feasible for a pro player in America to be involved in the game when we have players from China and Europe coming in, winning these tournaments, and a player has to win 5th place or better to break even on their venture after travel expenses.
Right, that's what only a lot of the top tournaments play to is the top 5.
Right, and some of them even the top 3 to break even. So when we have these world-class players and multiples coming over from overseas, it deters our professional players from playing. So I devised a business plan and a way to attack that in the sense that it's an American-only league. So now I want to draw out all the retired players, all those that didn't have a chance to compete or had the skill set in America, but would be deterred by that factor. So the NBL, the National Billiard League, is just that, a national billiard league. It's for the U.S. And yes, I'm very close with people in Canada, and I would like to have them in. But unfortunately, starting out, we can't do that yet. We must first...
Right, you got to start at home.
And local.
All local, starting local. Eventually, yes, maybe there'll be an NBL Canada, NBL China, NBL Europe, whatever.
So,
Going back, before we jump into this, why don't you tell me a little bit more about what it actually is and what your dreams are and how you see this trying to manifest itself into something large like you have the dreams for it to become?
My only dream was for it to address the issues in America. Now people are asking from overseas if they can get involved, and I would love that to happen down the road. But right now, we have to worry about us. Europe has Euro Tour. China has the CSBF. The Middle East has the QSBF, the Qatari Snooker and Billiard Federations. They have all these organizations developed. They have a system. They have a ladder system for juniors to grow into and develop and become world-class players. We don't have that here. So what is it? It's what we're already doing. We have a lot of independent events. We have a lot of tours and leagues and things like that. And let me address that word, league. We've come to know the word league as like the bar league world, where it's amateurs only, there's handicaps, so forth and so forth. This is not like that. The league, the NBL, is to be thought of as the National Football League or the National or Major League Baseball. That is the true definition of league. This is the official professional league of America for billiards. Okay?
right.
We're redefining that as well. Why? Why name it a league and not just a tour? Because it is a tour, it's a pro tour. But within the league, there's going to be a professional tour and later on down the road, an amateur tour, which will go at least 3 years down the road. Because first, we have to build a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for people to aspire to. Okay? Right now,
that's the ladder that they have to climb with your system, as I'm understanding.
With any system. I welcome the APA bar leagues. I welcome the TAP leagues, the UPA, the CSI leagues, everything, the Predator tours, the Mez tours, the West Coast State Tour. I want to promote every single billiard entity in America through one blanket organization or under one umbrella, the NBL. We have Little Leagues out there for baseball. We have 1,000 organizations in every other professional sport in America. We have Pop Warner football. They all have 1,000 names. Look at NASCAR and look at the NASCAR jersey. Okay, they have 1,000 patches and sponsors on there. I don't mind being like that, but only if those sponsors actually sponsor players into the events. I'm sorry to say it, but I'm putting it out there. Players have been sold out for cheap way too long. A piece of chalk, a t-shirt, a glove, a cue stick. Now, granted, a cue stick can be an expensive item for a one-time thing, but you can't.
Right, but that's where it is because as a sponsor, when they give their clients or their sponsored players a cue stick, a piece of chalk, and something like that, that's branding for the company, and that's what they're using it as is a walking billboard.
Oh, they're right, exactly. They're a walking billboard, but their value is much more than that. Players, you're worth more than that. Stop selling out cheap. Now, if a lot of manufacturers are offended by that, I'm setting the standard for players, professional players and amateurs. You want to sponsor a player, sponsor them. Pay their entry fee of $1,000. Pay their hotel for $400 or $500. Pay their flights for $500 to $1,000, wherever they want to enter, which is still cheap for a manufacturer, a total of $2,000. In 2020, with all this mayhem, $1,000 or $2,000 is still not a lot of money, okay? But a product of a t-shirt or a cue stick one time, or a bunch of cue sticks on consignment for them to hustle and sell, now they're a salesman. Now they're not a pool player anymore. So pool players, sorry, wake up. You're worth more than that. For the NBA, for a manufacturer or a company or anyone, even Sneaky Pea Mafia wants to sponsor a player, and I'll get to amateurs sponsorship as well.
Well, going back to what you just said, is you're worth more than that because pool really is a very demanding game. It's physically, it's mentally. You got to have the stability and mental duration to go through long sets. And with that being said, a lot of people think that, oh, pool playing is easy. But as a pool player and as somebody that appreciates the industry, know that this is a very demanding game.
Right. Very demanding, time consuming, and everything. You can't reach world-class pro level working a full-time job and then playing pool. That's another thing I'm trying to address, as the NBL is designed for the weekend warrior. Professionals and amateurs alike can qualify for amateurs on a one-day event in some locations. Other locations that don't have enough tables, a two-day event on the weekend. Inexpensive, $150 to get in there. Sponsors for local APA leagues or wherever, I challenge you to sponsor and support your players and give back to the players. Sponsor them with a mere $150 into a local event. Put your local tour or league patch on their chest, sponsoring them in for $150. If they win that tournament, that patch carries on to the main event with 32 locations broadcasting it nationwide and internationally to give you brand exposure more powerful than any one television network can offer you. That's the power of the NPL working together as a blanket organization. CSI package, more than welcome. Predator package, more than welcome. APA package, more than welcome. Sponsor your players. Support your players. Get them involved. I'm happy to put it out there, but there's only 3 stops available on a uniform. If you're a right-handed player, the NBL logo will be on your right chest for stroking ability so the patches don't get in the way. On the left side will be 3 spots available. Top spot goes to those that spend the most. Pay the $1,000 entry fee, hotel or flight rather, and then the other, the 2. For amateur, or if you want to do all 3, you're the only thing. Or if you're a company that has 3 different brands, fine. Pay for everything, $2,000 total, or whatever it winds up being, and you will have all 3 spots. Let's say, let's use Predator as an example. They were working Molinari. Predator, Molinari, Poison, all subsidiaries of Predator Group. Well, fine, put that in there. Be all 3, but sponsor your players, not sell them out. That's pinning.
Right.
Not sponsorship. Now, for the amateur player, it's $150. They get into a qualifier stage 1. Stage 2 is the main event. It's only 1 step. For those league players out there that don't understand the structure or are not familiar with the structure, let me say, it's a 2-stage tournament. The NBL is designed as a tournament that we already do. We have tour stops, we have regional tours, we have weekly tournaments in pool rooms all the time.
What is the rule basis platform of your tournament that you're going to be hosting? Is it something that we will all be familiar with?
Yeah, the format is very simple. It's very simple. It's what we're already doing. It's a true double elimination tournament. True double elimination tournament. That means you must be beaten twice to actually lose. Not an extended race. Not, if we reach a certain score or whatever, then it changes. No. It's a true double elimination format where the first round switches from what we're normally used to. Typically, we have races to 9 and 5 on the winner side and the loser side, and the first round is a race to 9 as well. We're reversing that, and I'll tell you why. The first round is a race to 5. A race to 5, a shorter race, alternate break, allows more opportunities and favors the lesser player a lot more than a winner's break format where they're sitting in the chair and they don't have a chance. Many of us know that already.
This is not handicapped at all, then.
No, let me explain that. Not handicapped in the sense of ball spots or game spots. When you play golf, does Tiger Woods spot any other player strokes on the golf course in a professional league? No. Does LeBron James spot anybody any points and baskets or free throws to any other player? Guess what, folks? You have to practice. I'm sorry, it's a bad word. Practice. You have to get better, but I will help you. The NBL will help you. How? Alternate breaks is a handicap. Short races is a handicap. If you're not ready to compete, go practice, come back. But I will recommend this to any B-class player or above, or Fargo 500 or APA 5s or 6s and above. You have a chance to win money. Yes, the greater players are going to win more money. The decent players are going to win an average amount of money. The lower end players will win a little bit of money. That's how it works in everywhere in the world, every sport, everywhere else in the world. The top performers earn more. The lower performers earn less. If you don't get that, you're not ready to play. I'm sorry, it's the truth. Okay? Now, let's get back to the format. A race to 5, alternate break in the first round. If you win, then you move on to the winner's side or the.
Is it a BCA formatted rules?
Well, yeah, BCA, Billiard Congress of America, which I sit on the board of directors of the organization, not to be confused with the BCA PLE, which were one, but were sold off almost 10 years ago or so, but they're welcome to play as well. Also, WPA, which is the World Pool Billiards Association. They're a panel of people from all over the world, just a couple levels below the Olympic Committee. So we're following the BCA Billiard Congress of America rules, which is www.bca-pool.com, or you can go to www.wpa-pool.com, and they're identical rule sets. Copy and paste right over. So we work together, communicate, we follow the same rules. The whole world plays by one set of rules, the official rules. We in America, again, we have a habit. We like to make up our own rules, do whatever we want, stick our nose in places don't belong, think that we're better than everybody, and I'm sorry, that's a realism, okay? I am a realist. I do think we were a great nation. I do think we were great on top of the world and pool as well. We're not there right now. We need to get back there. Forget about what's going on with the craziness out there. Yes, that's a perfect example of we are divided. I am trying to make the United States of America a united front of billiard players at least. The politicians can take care of the rest of America. But all of our walks of life and everything, playing and sharing one thing. We may not even like each other, but we all love the game. I welcome people that have, had problems with each other. I'm working with several people that didn't get along before. They may have had fallings out. We're mending those bridges. We're mending those ties and bridging those gaps because we all love the game, and that's what it's about. It's about an opportunity for everyone to make a living, at least a part-time income or full-time income for full-time players, where they don't have to make their place better. So real quick, just to sum up the format, race to 5 in the first round, and on the one-loss side, all races to 5. On the winner's side, after the first round, and now you go up to a race to 9. Why? 2 problems that we have in the tournaments. We're always waiting for the loser side or the one-loss side to catch up to the winner's side. Now, 2 races to 5 is the same amount of time as a race to 9. If we play in the first round, we're equally matched. We go hill-hill every time. You win, I lose. Hill-hill, 5-4. You go on to the winner's side, you go to 9. For you to get to the finals, you must win that race to 5 in the first round, then a race to 9, 9, 9, and 9. 4 more rounds. You're now in the finals. That totals 41 racks. You're there in the finals after winning 41 racks before your bonus did. Total. I lost. I go to the loser side, one-loss side. I now have to play 8 rounds at a race to 5. 5 times 8, 40 racks. I'm back in the final. It's only one rack difference. Who cares? So
this is going to be an 8-ball format, yeah?
Well, this is 10-ball and 8-ball both. There's 4 quarters in the NBL. The first quarter is 10-ball, second quarter 8-ball, then we flip-flop back and forth. 10-ball for the third quarter, 8-ball for the fourth quarter. Why? Intentional shot games, no slop, cold shot, official rules, not cold safe. That was a made-up rule. The official rules allow the 2-way shot in rotation games to exist. It's an intelligent shot. We don't want to lose that. So, right. WPA rules or BCA rules, look them up, be familiar with them. We have a set rack, which is standardized in a certain order to deter the rack mechanics or pattern racking, all the other problems that we have in the dark side of the rule, where, yes, I've been there, I see it, I'm an official, I watch people, I give them warnings on pattern racking all the time. They're always trying to get an edge. It's not everybody, but there's a percentage of them from the top levels from around the world to the amateurs that are trying to get an edge. Guess what? There's no more edge. It's fair for everyone. It's a set pattern in numerical order, just like we watch bowling. You don't have to be a bowler to know what a 7-10 split looks like. You don't have to be a bowler to know what the 5-pin is. They almost got a strike, but they left one 5-pin standing. You know, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Same thing in pool. Now, amateurs, spectators, online or in person, can study the break, learn the break, and all develop their game, sharing knowledge, which is one thing the hustlers and the way I learned, you didn't get that information passed on to you in the 90s. You didn't get that information. You had to lose a lot of money gambling.
Right, and that's the thing is pool has transitioned over the last probably 20, 30 years, as you well have seen, where the pool leagues have become a lot more as I almost want to say the standard for what pool is outside of the professional scene, because everybody knows the APA or the BCA or the NAPL or different pool leagues out there, and those different pool leagues have their own rating systems. So the rating systems are associated with the level of playing in that specific. Exactly.
Yep, exactly. Hopefully one day I will be posting out an equivalency chart and trying to figure out what is the most accurate. And there's no perfect system, whether it's Fargo or APA, or a lot of them are good. A lot of them work for a lot of people to a certain extent. Hopefully, those apples and oranges in different areas, when we have a large pool of people in the metropolitan New York area versus somewhere in the Midwest where it's not as densely populated, you're only as good as the best player in that area, and you can only excel to that area. Once we get on the same platform under the NBL, and we have let's say an APA 4 or 5, or let's say an APA 6, just to give an average of what may be able to make it. An APA 6 from New Jersey versus an APA 6 from Wisconsin, that will start to balance out the apples and oranges. And I'll put out an equivalency chart as far as down the road, what an APA level would be a Division 3 player, Division 2 player, Division 1 player in the amateurs versus a pro level player or open level player. So I don't want to, it's getting mixed up, jumping around from a few different things. But to start out, the Open Pro Division welcomes amateurs in this format with races to 5 and races to 9. They both win the same amount of racks to get to the finals, and it balances out the play time. Yes, a B-class player can beat an A-class or even an open player on their good day in a race to 5 alternate break easily. In a race to 9, it'll be a little bit more challenge. That open player is having a bad day. As we know, our games all fluctuate. That's why we're not all playing.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about the number of players and the locations?
Well, the business design was 32 locations across America to award 32 winners in January and 32 winners in February, which we're well on our way, as we have 2 locations already sold out, the third one about to be sold out, which is what we need, because that's what generates this money for that $200,000 prize fund. $150 times 32 players, each location, twice, generates enough money to cover everyone's flights, hotels, and everything. So when you're used to playing in a league and you're winning a free trip to Vegas, not singling anyone out, but wake up. You paid for that trip 3 times over because you must remain active the whole year long, and you win 1 trip. You got to pay for your hotel, pay for expensive food, pay for everything. When you get out there, you're not winning anything. Here with the NBL, you win 1 event. $150 is all you pay. You got in the event, and for most locations where it is perfectly legal to have a Calcutta or a player's auction or a side pot, and there's other means being developed for locations where it's not allowed legally, because of each jurisdiction being different. We have people signed up 6 months in advance for these qualifiers. Why? They see it. If you're skeptical, I understand. It's something new. It's something different. If you don't know who I am, look at my track record. I'm not claiming to be a saint, not claiming to be an angel, but I am an honest man as far as money being proper and everything. You don't have to worry about a thing. Everything's open book. There's full transparency on the website where the money comes in. That's what I was saying before. We have enough money generated to pay everyone's flights, everyone's hotels. You're actually winning something. For $150 getting in, it's not a lot of money. If you don't make first place in the qualifier, the top 8 out of 32.
The top 8 is quite a bit.
Right. The top 8 is 25% out of 32 players. So if you make the top 25% in your local area, whatever your skill sets are, you're at least breaking even, costing you nothing. So you're actually winning something. When you go to stage 2, the main event, each quarter, which is every 3 months, not the whole year to wait for something big to happen, every 3 months you're getting a $200,000 prize purse to be divided up to 48 players. 128 players total will be involved in the main event. Out of 128 players, the top 47% get paid. You only have to make it 57% of the way through the field to make money in the main event. So we have a lot of amateurs that are afraid, oh, I get to the main event, now I'm going to get beat up by a pro. Not right away. But, like I said earlier, the best players make more money. That's how it works. That's life. That's sport. You don't give spots and handicaps in a professional sports league. This is a professional sports league. But it's designed as a pro-am league where amateurs have tryouts every 2 months. Every 3 months, you know. So we have January and February tryouts or qualifiers, and you win money there. So it doesn't cost you anything. You actually win when you win. You win cash that day. If you're not first place, you're still winning something. Okay?
Now, Ed, when are you planning to start all this?
This all starts January of 2021, which is great because I first started marketing this as 2020, the year of the perfect vision. 2020 vision, the year 2020, the perfect vision. Unfortunately, 2020 is not the perfect year by far. We have so much mayhem going on, but I want this to be a beacon of light for all that. Something to look forward to. When we have pool rooms that are still open, this will stimulate activity in the pool rooms because these 32 sanctioned locations across America are spread out. One prerequisite was to have 150 miles between each pool room so that we're not fighting over players. We're giving equal opportunities for players to have a choice of where to go. Now, if it's a densely populated area such as the Northeast where I am, we have my pool room, Sandcastle Billiards in Edison, New Jersey involved. We have Rack's pool room in West Hempstead, New York. We're only an hour or so away from each other, but with such a high population of pool players from New York City, there's nothing in New York City. They have to travel out to West Hempstead, New York, to Rack's pool room, where they have to come down to Edison, New Jersey, which are each an hour away from each other. An hour away from the city, less than an hour away from the city, an hour away from Philadelphia. They're all strategically positioned so that way we have these options for players to get involved. And there's only 32 spots available. Rack's pool room still has spots available. The place in Rochester, New York, which is 4 hours away from us, they're already sold out, 32.
What are the prerequisites for a pool room to be eligible to be able to host an event?
They must have X amount of 9-foot tables. At first, I wanted to have at least 12 to 16, ideally, 9-foot regulation tables. Let me touch on that real quick. The NBL is structured on 3 basic principles, which are very much needed in America to get back on track with the rest of the world, to build our skill level back up so we can compete, and we don't have just one Shane Van Boning. We have 20 Shane Van Bonings in America when we mix those apples and oranges together, building everyone's skill level up, okay? That is standardization of rules, standardization of equipment. The official size of a pool table is 4.5 by 9 feet of a playing area. That's 50 inches wide by 100 inches long, okay? I had to grab my water here, sorry, I'm starting to get dry. That is a standard table. Anything else is a miniature table. Big tables are not 9-foot tables. Big tables are 10-foot tables, where we have them 5 by 10 playing areas, okay? So we need to clarify I'm not trying to educate anyone, I'm trying to offer education. I'm not trying to force anyone to learn or change the terminologies, but we've become so accustomed to this, which is another thing that we have to change our mentality. We're not performing the way we used to in the 70s. We've gone backwards. As you mentioned, because the bar leagues have miniature equipment, lowering the standards, smaller tables, bigger pockets, sloppy drops, wrong rules, teaching people how to play the wrong way. That does not elevate our game. It's great as a fun night out and a leisurely night out. Wonderful. Do it if that's what you're looking for. Nothing wrong with that. But the NBL wants to offer something higher, something bigger, something more rewarding for those that are looking to improve their skill levels to get higher rank. Not to keep the rankings down, not to play games in the numbered game with systems. This is a system devised to promote you as a player, which is why I'm holding high standards for sponsors to promote players and give back to players, which is why there's only a limited number of patches available, patch locations on your shirt for true sponsorship. That's why there's a certain number of 32 locations across the country, because the novelty must be kept up. So that way we are getting the best of the best at all levels, from a D-class player and up. Now, I don't want to discourage any C-class or D-class players from getting involved. Get your seasoning, get your experience, because you never know. You might win locally in the top 8 and win a little something.
Will it be streamed, or how will you be able to view what's going on? If you're saying that you're having 32 locations that are going to be all done at the same day, at the same time, how are people going to be able to see a location here and location there and all around?
Yes, we are making it a totally free stream for live view, okay? There will be pay-per-views involved in the future, but if you're a hardcore viewer, those are the ones that want to watch, it's totally free. We have 32, we're gathering up 32 streamers, one for each location, to stream one featured table, because that's all our servers can handle right now, but as we grow, we'll get more space to do more. But you will be able to click on a different location and watch any match going on. At Sandcastle Billiards, I'm going to have it a little bit different of a setup, where I'm going to show you how the main events are going to be set up. And but for the stage 1 qualifiers, we're looking to gather up. I'll give you an example. On the Wire, Ra Hanna is involved in California. He'll be doing streams either at Sacramento at Hard Times Billiards at Oscar Dominguez's place, Sacramento Hard Times. There's also a place in Fresno that James Harris, the tournament director, he'll be running it there. Now, on the Wire, maybe covering both if they have enough equipment and people available. If not, we'll be looking maybe Daniel Wood from POV Pool. Like I said, we want everyone involved. I'm not trying to be the man or the one thing. This is just a blanket organization to encompass and cross-promote every single billiards entity in America. I want every single streamer involved. And the streamers that don't get along, guess what? I have several of them that don't get along or have falling outs. They're working together under the NBL umbrella to send their streams to one location on the NBL USA website, nblusa.com. We're working on it later on. There'll be a tab to see NBL Camp, where you can click on which location you want to watch, switch between them, and watch whichever state. Now, everyone gets a benefit from that. Each streamer or production company, because some are streamers, some are production companies, and there's a big difference between that. They're all going to be vested. They all make their own money. I want no part of it. Whatever sponsors they get for their local streams, they keep. We have a system devised also so that way amateur players that are involved, win or lose, can make money. They're all going to be archived in videos on the NBL USA website. So even if you don't win a qualifier, if somebody clicks on your website, on your match to our website, and they watch your match after the fact, like I said, live will be free, but at some point it'll be a $4.95 pay-per-view. Someone clicks on your match, and you're one of the 2 players, each of you get 20% of that $5 for life. Now that does take storage space, does take cloud space, server power, and all that. There will be a small fee, maybe $10 a month if you want.
It's never been done before in this industry.
Never. I want this to be a viable career option for people. That's what the NBL wants. If you read the NBL mission statement on the website, I don't have it memorized to recite it for you, but that's in there.
Oh, come on, you should do this.
Later, I just wrote it the other day, you know. Told you, getting older, I can't remember things anymore. That's why it has to be written down. But I also want you to visit the NBL website, nblusa.com. Can't be any simpler. Now, if it was the nbl.com, once we get enough money built up, maybe we can buy that, but it's already been taken by the National Bank Lending Association, and the banks have a lot more money than we do right now. But with this open transparency, hopefully we can pool our money together, which is how the name Pool came about. For those of you that know why we call it Pool and not Billiards, it's because it was pooling money together to make things happen. Now we must pool our money together, and I am the guy that's going to be honest enough, have everything transparent on the website and everything for you to see where all the money goes. 75% goes to the prize fund for the main event. There you have it. coming right back to you. 20% goes on travel expenses, which is, again, going back to the players. So 95% of the money is going right back to the players involved, whether at a local level, with 25% getting some kind of reward, cash, or otherwise develop, whether it's Calcutta or other satellite events where you're getting it cheaper. There's a million ways going on. I don't want to waste time on that, but you got to check with your local tournament director on how they're providing that or how they're devising that. So it might even not cost you $150 to get in.
You were telling me before that you're going to have 32 players in the first field playing, and then on the second tier, when you progress past that, it'll be a 64-player bracket. Is that correct?
Oh, there's only 2 tiers. Let me clarify. In January of 2021, we have our first Stage 1 event qualifier, just like other countries have them. So some of these ideas are taken from China, from Europe, from the Middle East, what works there and what has been working there for several years, what works on the Euro Tour, what doesn't. It's 2 stages only. There's 2 Stage 1 events. One Stage 1 event qualifier in January, a Stage 1 event in February as well. These are qualifiers to qualify amateur players trying to earn their way on the big stage. So we get 32 winners in January from Stage 1. We have another 32 winners in a Stage 1 event in February. Those 64 winners total both go to the main event in March. The main event has a $200,000 prize purse generated from the money collected in these Stage 1 events all across the country. So we generate over $350,000 ideally with 32 players at each location at $150. Those players can get in through satellite events for $20, $30, $50. Places are doing all kinds of things to make it cheaper and affordable for you to get involved at an amateur level, and only 32 winners, remember. So get in quick, because there's only 32 spots available at each of these Stage 1 events. But now amateurs can play on the big stage with professionals. A lot of them dream of that. A lot of them don't want that. If you're worried about winning money and that's your only goal in this, great, fine. In the main event, the first round, all amateurs, the 64 amateurs from January and February that make it there, play each other in the second stage, which is the final stage, the main event. It's a quarterly event every 3 months. So January and February, you qualify for March. April and May will be 2 more qualifying stages, Stage 1, to get to the main event.
Where will the main event be hosted at?
Now, the main event will be hosted at one of the 32 locations that we have involved. Everything is based out of the pool rooms. We want to stimulate pool room activity once again. You don't want pool rooms dedicated to the players, dedicated to the game for all these years, closing down left and right like they have been for the last 30 years. Why? If you don't sell alcohol, you don't sell food, you don't have a full restaurant and kitchen, pool time alone doesn't support a pool room. But now it may, again, in the next few years. Because where else do you want to practice? If you have a local pool room involved in this, giving you an opportunity to make a career out of this part-time on the weekend, aside from your full-time job, why would you not want to practice at the location on the same exact equipment that you're going to be competing on? It only behooves you to practice on the equipment that you're going to be qualifying through. Okay? Play on it. Go there. They're not involved. They have similar equipment. Fine. But every location that's not one of the 32 locations are also welcome to have satellite events, maybe sponsor players. Sandcastle wasn't one of the 32 locations. I would sponsor amateurs left and right. Take $500 of a budget and sponsor my top players and put them into a local qualifier at whatever location's there. I know Dave Chennels owns a place, Side Pocket Billiards in South Jersey. I know Vinny up in Clifton, the Clifton Billiards, New Jersey. They're more than welcome to put a Clifton Billiards patch on their top players and sponsor them, or have satellite events each week, generating more business at their locations also to get players collected to enter a qualifier event. They're more than welcome. I'm happy to put their pool rooms at the Sandcastle Billiards qualifier as well. So get everyone involved.
Now, you were saying that there's 32 locations. We've spoken before. Does that mean 32 independent states with the exclusion of Texas and California?
A couple things have changed because of the COVID situation, where ownership of the pool rooms have changed. We switched a couple locations that were non-responsive because they were uncertain as far as what's going on. but we have our 32 locations locked in as of now. If anything changes from now till January, you can check the NBLUSA.com website and see what's available, who's involved. But we only have a few states. Texas has only one location. That would be in Spring, Texas, by Houston. They're Big Time Billiards, excuse me. See, there's my memory again. Big Time Billiards in Spring, Texas, right outside of Houston or within Houston. You can talk to Carlos Sanchez. He's the tournament director there. He's taking sign-ups in person and online. You can email him, whatever. We are inundated with emails, so we are getting back to everyone in the order that they're received, getting back to those that want to be involved, and we'll take them in the order that your interest was expressed to become a entered player, paid player for your entry. But Virginia has 2 locations. Virginia has the Wolf's Den in Roanoke, Virginia, and also Q Master Billiards, a huge place if everyone's familiar, another well-renowned location. That is one state that has 2 locations. Florida has Zingales. I'm trying to remember the town, but that's in Florida. Look them up. Mike Zingales' location there in Tallahassee, Florida. There's also Capone's Billiards. Maybe Capone's in Tallahassee. Look them up. You'll find them. All you got to do is very easy, very, very simple. I want to keep interaction on a personal level a part of this as well. I'm not taking entry fees from all over the country as of yet online. We are doing it locally. We're doing it online through PayPal or other means or in person through each location's tour director. I want there to be personal interaction. So all you have to do to make it very simple to make sure that there's space available before you give up your money, to make sure you're familiar with the rules and how everything works, talk to your tournament director, go to NBLUSA.com. You look at the map, it says find location. Find location brings you to a map of the U.S. All the states that are red have locations. So New York State has one in Rochester, New York, which is sold out already. And it has one in West Hempstead, New York, Racks. So the East Ridge Billiards in Rochester, New York is now taking sign-ups for February, which will serve as an alternate list for January. So if any spots become available and someone can't make it for January, we'll go and order from the February list to bump you up sooner in the January event. So it's the same thing. They both get you to the March main event. So New York has 2 locations, Virginia has 2 locations, and Florida has 2 locations. That's it. Everywhere else has 1 location. So get your spots early. Don't snooze and lose out on that. Or else you have to wait for February, which is already filling up as an alternate list. We want the novelty to be there. Just like Turning Stone, New York, and Verona sells out months ahead of time. Mike Zugman is very strict. He's a great tournament director. Love him or hate him, strict is the way it has to be. That's how life works. If you snooze, you lose. Sorry, don't snooze next time. You don't have to wait all year. There'll be another one coming up in just a few months. So the availability, the accessibility is there. There are, I think, out of the 32 locations, minus those 3, so we got what, 29, 30 states available. I'm so happy to have Colorado on board because there's a huge gap in the map as far as accessibility goes. Now let me touch on accessibility and why I want it spread out all over the U.S. to be available. Alaska and Hawaii are also involved, by the way. So Honolulu, Hawaii, you can go check out that location there as well. Velvet Touch Billiards, Kurt Kobayashi, another respected individual, is working hard out there. We have Max Adams out in Alaska, in Anchorage, Alaska. You can check out that location. Clancy Billiards out in Anchorage. We want all states involved eventually. Maybe down the road, we expand to 64 locations and we have a lot more opportunities where the main event is a 256-player field, but that now gets into a situation where we can't have a 3-day event. That would have to be a 6-day or a 7-day event. We don't want to do that yet. Down the road, maybe. But right now, we want this accessible and feasible to do as a weekend warrior. Or someone, let me use Frankie Hernandez, who's a full-time worker, works for New York State. He has a full-time job. He's retiring soon, so he'll be able to be a full-time pool player again. But he's a professional level player, maybe not at the elite class level, but at a low to mid-level pro because he works full-time. Pool's a demanding game. You can't put in the time to excel and generate. But at the main event, the format is very similar to the stage 1 qualifiers. Instead of races to 5 and 9, there will be races to 7 and 11. So the first round is a race to 7 alternate break, still alternate break.
Now, why did you do that, Ed?
Now, Frankie Hernandez at his pro level can beat Jason Shaw at his elite class level in a race to 7 alternate break. It can happen. So now we get these pro players coming out of the woodwork like Mike DeShane, where it wasn't feasible. Now they're up in the money ranks where it's worth it for them to pay a $1,000 entry and get 24th place and make money. 32nd place, they break even. We have $30,000 as the first place prize, $1,000 at 48th place. So again, you make it through approximately 60% of the field, 57% to be exact. You make it through 50%, 57% of the field, you're making money. Amateurs are making money when they get there because you've already won money in stage 1 qualifiers, so you have nothing to lose. So don't be afraid. Step up. Stop making excuses. Stop delaying. Stop holding your game back. Your mental game has to expand for your physical game to get there. You're not losing anything. $150 into a local amateur event only. Only amateurs can play in the qualifiers, stage 1. Okay? So if you make the top 8, the top 25% of your local amateurs, you're at least breaking even. You're not losing anything. If you win first place, you're going to the main event on a free ride. Your hotel is paid. Your entry fee of $1,000 is paid. Your flight is paid if it takes a flight. Or a travel voucher will be paid. And you're getting 2 uniform jerseys, specialized, tailored to you, with your last name on the back, the state you represent.
That's never been done before.
Never, well, kind of. Bonus Ball was putting teams together with professionals where they wore jerseys.
I wasn't talking about the jerseys, but I was talking about everything being paid for and have it be seen as a professional sport that people aspire to do. You told me a story a little bit ago about your son and him running his first rack of 8-ball. And I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, my son was 8 years old. Hello, Alex, if you're ever watching this. He doesn't care. He's 19, too cool to hang out with dad now. But, you know, that's teenagers. He was 8 years old. He was playing on a tight box table at Sandcastle Billiards, 4 1/4 inches, but pro cut like a diamond table. Age 8, he ran out from the 3-ball. And in order, intentionally, playing good patterns, playing smart, and what did I tell my own son at age 8? I love pool. It's my passion. It's been my passion for 27 years. I'm putting this together to make this opportunity available so no one else has to tell their children what I had to tell my son. At age 8, he ran out on a tight table from the 3-ball to the 9. I said, good job, honey. Congratulations. You win. You want to go play some video games now? And I took him away from pool because there was no benefit to him getting sucked up into the pool world in America, spending all those hours, all that time to chase 3rd place or better, to make an okay living, that he could do the same thing, flipping burgers at a McDonald's or as an assistant manager of a McDonald's, $48,000 a year for being number 2 in America. I don't want to see that happen. I now have a 9-month-old baby, Landon, in the future if you see this video. Tell him the same thing. In 19 years, my son was 8 years old. 11 years later, nothing's changed. You still can't make money playing pool in America. It's not feasible. I want that to change. But I need your help. I need every single player's help. I can't do this alone. Yes, I devised a business plan. Yes, I devised a way to make it more fair and feasible for a B-class player up to make it to the main event, to make money at the main event. If you have the mentality that you can't win playing pro, just don't bother playing. I'm not going to waste my time with you. Why? We don't have that time. I only have 32 spots available in 32 locations. If you're not ready mentally, then don't play. Watch your buddy who is just the same skill level as you. Let him do it for a year or 2. Maybe your mindset will change. Maybe you'll see it's feasible. I don't want to hear it. I've heard it for 27 years. If you're not mentally prepared to compete, go practice. That's the answer. Now, for those people that are trying to get better and don't think $150 is the end of the world, or even a satellite event for $50 or $25, great, get in there. We love you. We want you in. Absolutely. Can you make money? Yes. Will you win the first place prize of $30,000? Most likely not. Now, again, this is American residents only. Miki Immonen can play. He resides in New York. Jason Shaw can play. He resides in Connecticut. But let's say Ralph Sakay has a condo in Florida. No, I'm not giving out their addresses, so calm down. But They reside in the U.S., they pay taxes in the U.S. on property, so forth. They qualify, they're eligible. Because when they get paid, that eligibility allows them to get paid as well. That's the prerequisite to play in America. You must be an American resident. It doesn't matter if you're a citizen, but you must be a resident. So, I want to entice other players from around the world to come live in the U.S. to play in the NBL, just like the NBA, National Basketball Association, right? They brought Yao Ming over from Asia to live in the U.S. and play, to elevate the game from all over the world. We have international events. I'm a tournament director and MC at the International Open down in Virginia coming up in October. We'll get involved in that. We have players from all over the world, the Middle East, Asia, Europe, and the U.S. playing at the international event. Okay? That's one event. That's an independent event once a year. We have other independent events like the U.S. Open. It's open to the world. They all come in. But American players are skeptical in playing because they are not at the same level, and they know that. Pro players know they can't compete with Europe. They can't compete with China because they have 20 Shane Van Bonings coming over. Well, I'm eliminating that in the NBL. Americans only allows people to come out the woodworks. Maybe Buddy Hall, who still has an okay game, a decent game, will come out the woodworks and play. Maybe Earl Strickland will be in there. He's still competitive. He plays all the time. I house him at Sandcastle. He can't play in the qualifier, but he can pay in. I might sponsor him into the main event at the NBL, the quarterly main events. So I want to bring out all the people out of the woodwork, men and women too. Women want to play with the men. Here it is. Play. No excuses. A race to 7 alternate break. Kelly Fisher resides in the U.S. She's looking on in the NBL group. I welcome you. Come on in. The WPBA members are welcome to play. The NAPT members are welcome to play. I am not excluding anyone or saying you can't play this because you're in that organization. Done. It's not about any one little organization. It's about the game and about the players. I'm not about me. I'm about you. I've been busting my tail for the last number of years, giving up my careers to do things for pool. It's not for me to make money. Very little money is coming out of this to just cover operational costs. The money's going back to you, the players. It's all open book. There's nothing to hide. Ask all the questions you want. If you have a problem with covering costs to host websites and to bring streams in, don't play. Because you have to understand, businesses have costs. There's overhead. That's all that's being covered. I am paying the tournament directors a small fee for running events out of these 32 locations. I am paying the venues that are involved a small hosting fee rather than asking the venues for money, asking for tournament people to put added money in. That is what bums do, asking for money. Pool, to be recognized as an organized sport, a game by definition, what organized as a sport cannot continue asking and begging for money from corporations and sponsors to put money into a system that only fails them time and time again. We've lost thousands of sponsors over the years. Added money is not the answer. A miracle angel investor is not the answer. Badi Nazhat has sponsored and put millions of dollars into the Ultimate 10-Ball Challenge, a one-time event, was more than happy to put millions more as his boss, a billionaire, loves pool, wanted to put more money in, but players ruined it. Players ruined it. I'm not afraid to say it. Guess what? We need to prove, players, that we can be a self-sustaining industry on our own 2 feet with a system that has been devised where all the money goes in and back out to everyone. The well goes in and out. It's a cycle. I have an open book. I am not a millionaire. I'm not putting money in, but everything that's collected is going back out. Minus 5% for operational costs. That's it. If you have a problem with that, I can't help you. Don't play. Okay?
Right.
So the venues that are involved are being paid a few $100 for hosting the qualifiers, as we are using their equipment and they can't make their table time on the day. I hosted a Predator Tour once. I'm friends with Tony Robles. I wish I could host more, but that structure doesn't work because I have to put up money. I was asked to host a WPBA event. I would have loved to, but I had to come up with $10,000 to put out and put up and host, lose a few $1,000s on my day, closing down my business, not being able to rent tables, and try to make that up by selling hamburgers and hot dogs and potato chips at 50 cents to $1 a piece. You think that works? Would I want to host it? Yes. Can I feasibly, financially afford that $10,000 hit plus a few $1,000s on losing other things and regular customers that can't play on their favorite table? No. Those models don't work. Those business models, you can do what you want. I'm not going to tell you how to run your own business, but I'm not doing that. Okay? If you're happy doing that, you can do that, great. I, as a venue, as Sandcastle Billiards and all these other venues, can no longer afford, especially with the current situation and bowling's closing down from COVID reasons, we have to be self-sustaining. It costs money to keep the lights on, to pay the electric bill, to pay the heating costs and air costs, especially places with high ceilings, lots of real estate. Table time is the same as it's been since 1995. And players don't want to pay that. Stop that. Stop it. It's ridiculous. Especially the gamblers that can flip a quarter for $500 a set, but they complain about $18 in pool time for the whole entire day. 7 hours of pool. I currently have a special, which I won't be doing after COVID's over, $10 to play all day long from 11 a.m. 6 p.m. 7 hours, $10. Do the math.
And what I would like to do is I would like to come back and revisit this at a little bit later time. Okay. And what we can do is talk about the advancement that's come and also the individual players that you guys have and the locations. With that being said, the locations seem very, very key in this because the way that you have it structured, that you have the independent, isolated events at these specific places that are strategically placed where they're not too close to one another, and they're also far enough away where they can draw in the customers from the surrounding areas.
Right. Okay, so getting back to that, these 32 locations are key so that way it's accessible for everyone, which is another thing I want to do with the NBL platform and network of 32 locations working together across the nation, streamers working together, promoters working together, venue owners working together, tournament directors working together, all for the benefit of the player and the game itself and the integrity of the game. I want to host qualifiers for the WPPA, the NAPT, for the BEF, the Billiards Education Foundation. Imagine what we can do for mom and dad when they want to put junior into an event, and rather than spending thousands and thousands of dollars doing so all around the country, flying them around, which no one can afford that on a regular basis. How many more juniors do we get involved when mom and dad now just have to drive an hour away? Or drive maybe 2 hours away at most and pay $50, let's say, for an entry-level stage 1 event for juniors only. What does that do? We increase our numbers by tens of thousands. Now, we can afford $50 for our child to get involved and do a juniors-only event. Later on down the road, we have amateur events, which are singles only, not to compete with APA, not to compete with any other organization, but down the road, we have the NBL amateur division. That will be 3 divisions, Division 3, Division 2, Division 1. CD players, B players, A players. After that, you play in the pro event, which is active now, starting January 2021. Now we have a line defining what a professional and an amateur is. You're getting points up the ladder. Each division has its own classifications, equivalency charts, and everything. Juniors play, men play, and women all together. We bring men, women, and juniors together. We don't have to have separate divisions. Now, the women that don't like to play with just women, that want to play with the men, great. Everyone makes money at that level. The best will always excel to the top. The elite class will always be the elite class because they put their time in, they have natural ability, whatever it may be. But everyone can cash and make money at their level. These 32 locations make it feasible and accessible for everyone to get involved. No excuses. The format of the tournaments make it feasible for people to get involved and have a chance to beat the upper class player. It favors the lesser player. It's not maybe down the road we change things around where it gets to the level of winner breaks format because our game has risen up to that level. Now we have 10 Shane Van Bonings in 10 years or 20 of them. Right? But when we get there, we will alter that and raise the bar again. Okay? So if you want to elevate your game, let me tell you this. You have to change your mentality, and we have to raise the bar, not play in one. That's a fun night out. Enjoy it for
I'm going to quote that in this.
Yeah. Raise the bar. Don't just play in one.
All right. All right, we're going to wrap this up here, Ed, but we're definitely looking, right? You're just getting going.
Let me just touch on one thing I definitely want to get in there. It's stage 2. First round is a race to 7 alternate break. All 64 winners from January and February will play each other in the first round. So you're still playing amateurs in the first round, and when you win, you will then play a professional. When you lose, you then play a professional. In the second round, on both sides of the charts, everyone mixes together. Now you have to fight to earn more money. But on the winner's side, from the amateurs, you're only a step or 2 away from cashing because 48 places pay out. You're already there on the up. You're in the plus because at the stage 1 event, you already won cash for only about $150. You're already winning a free trip, $1,000 entry, uniform, your hotel stay. Everything's paid for at the main event. You're already up money. You're not losing anything. Now in the first round, you're playing an amateur again. So those that dream of playing a professional will get to do that, win or lose. Those that don't want to play a professional right away and get a loss on their side, on their record, great. You don't have to. So it satisfies both. Race to 7 in the first round on the 1-loss side, race to 11 on the winner's round, undefeated. True double elimination. First round of the finals is a race to 11. Second round is a race to 7. Back down at the first stage 1 qualifier event, race to 5 on the 1-loss side in the first round, race to 9 on the winner's side. In the finals of the stage 1, first round of the finals is a race to 9. Second round of the finals is a race to 5. Anyone can beat an upper class player in that format. If you don't believe you can, change your mentality. You need more practice.
Hey, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
Not a problem. You have a good one, Ed.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.